Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I am here today with Eitan, and we are talking about creating your own Genesis. The idea that this week we have the opportunity to start fresh, start new, and it's not only a lesson for this week, we're also going to talk about ways to begin new, to start fresh, and what Genesis really means in our own lives, how to plant seeds, how to create new beginnings, especially when things externally don't seem to be changing and we identify that we need a fresh start. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we talk about the wisdom of Kabbalah in such a way that it helps our listeners navigate the coming 7 days with wisdom and tools that not only apply to whatever the universe is inviting us to do this week, it's really timeless. And because we are still in the midst of the month of Libra, which is a very formative month according to the teachings of Kabbalah, every week this month is providing us with a really foundational and fundamental opportunity to create a new reality in different levels. And last week we talked about one, the week before we talked about another. This week, we're beginning our journey into what the Kabbalists regard as the execution of all of the effort that we've made in the last 6 or 7 weeks. And because of that, we really do want to consider, each one of us in our own corner of the world, what we want to keep and what we want to start fresh with. So we wanted to take the opportunity to actually talk about how to start fresh, what starting fresh means, and how to keep that newness, that freshness alive, even in areas of our life that we want to have longevity, that we want to be everlasting, how to keep that newness going, that renewal process ongoing. So Eitan, being that this is a week that contains two different cosmic windows, on one hand, we're connecting to the end of this week that we call Sukkot and the holiday, the cosmic window that falls there. And at the same time, the energy that we're manifesting toward the end of the week is actually the energy of new beginnings. So it's like we're ending something and we're beginning something all in one week. Where do we start?
It's a good question, because in a way, we open ourselves in the last few weeks to really plant the seed in our consciousness of the new me, of the unlimited me, but now we need to manifest it. And while Genesis represents the birth of Adam and Eve, the birth of humanity, and in our birth, we were unlimited. And then something happened that brought us back to become limited. But that's by itself a lesson how to become unlimited. So I would encourage all of us this week, not just to think, to begin to plan. How do I become bigger? Think and do and act and be bigger in every area in your life. Bigger not from ego point of view, bigger not from what people will say about me, bigger in my ability to manifest my potential, bigger in my ability to show up with more heart, with more love, with more blessings to others, bigger and deeper in my ability to actually feel and connect to my soul. So what does it mean practically? Let's say you have a 10-story building that you own, and obviously has certain foundation, and you decided, I have it for 20 years already, I'm ready to go bigger. You know what? I get some air rights, and I would like to build another 20 floors on top of the 10. And it can be about relationship you wanted to take to the next level, your business, your spiritual growth, to connect more with inner peace because you realize you're too distracted and all over, and you're not doing things in a way that you are proud of. So in whatever area. So back to the building example. You want to take it from 10-story building to 30-story building. So are you just gonna build on top of the 10-story building another 20? Of course not. You need to reinforce the foundation, and maybe to dig deeper to build stronger foundation that can hold the taller building. Same thing in our life. If you want to really, in a sustainable way, to be bigger, to manifest bigger, you need to actually build deeper foundation. For example, the story of Adam and Eve. The Kabbalistic story of Adam and Eve is the Creator told Adam and Eve, us, the original soul, guys, here is the tree of life. The tree of life represents certain level of success, certain level of love, certain level of fulfillment that based on today you can handle. But if you'll wait long time enough, in that particular case was until Friday evening, if you'll just maintain patience of learning all the lessons that you can learn, just staying in that level, then you can go to your next level. The price to go your next level, and the tree of knowledge represent going to the next level. The price is willingness to let go of ego, accept rejection, being able to stay comfortable with your impatience, being able to maintain true love. So there's a price. The price is getting deeper. The Creator tells all of us, I want you to go to your next level in every area in your life. That's the time to plant the seed and to execute it. But what deeper foundation are you willing to make? You go to open your own business. Are you willing to be more humble? Are you willing to listen more to other people? Are you willing to listen to criticism? What is the deeper foundation are you willing to make? Just the trophy of the next level. Without sacrifices of the ego, it's not gonna work. You want to be more successful? Are you going to be even more present with your family? With people that you care about, that care about you? Or just you'll be consumed with external success? It's not real, it's not sustainable, it's not really thinking bigger. To achieve bigger things in the outside, you have to actually stretch your soul consciousness. You have to stretch your capacity to love in a bigger way. Your capacity to handle temporary discomfort. Your capacity to be more humble. Your capacity to celebrate other people's success.
So it's not about changing anything at all. I mean, externally. The whole idea of planting new seeds or of renewing, having a new 20 floors on the building that already exists. It's not about anything external. It's about something internal. Like you said, going deeper. I
think you need both. I think in this physical world, you need both.
Well, how would you do that? How would you do that in a relationship then? You don't want a new wife in order to have a new...
Exactly. Exactly. So for example, when you look at your relationship and you say, you know what? This year, I would like us to be closer. This year, I would like us to be more communicative. This year, I would love us to have more fun. But still, even though it's internal, it's still external. Now, you need to be real, creator. In order to have more fun, in order to be closer, in order to have more communication, those are the things that is uncomfortable for me to listen. It's uncomfortable for me. To spend more quality time without phone, it's uncomfortable for me. To actually disconnect from work when I have deadlines and to spend time until it will be naturally fun, it's uncomfortable for me. But it requires surrender and trust, because real change and real expansion, it means I'm willing deep inside to let go of the old way deep inside, not just outside, and surrender. If expansion doesn't require more trust and surrender of the process of the creator, of the light, of the higher power, the change will not be real.
Wow. Okay. I feel like we need some more practical understanding about how that works. For me, I mean, I relate very much to what you said. I have a lot of great ideas. I have a lot of new things, new versions of me I would love to express, but at the end of the day, not all of it manifests or expresses, or let's put it this way, it all eventually expresses. It's not usually at the pace that I want. So even, for example, using what you said, I want to spend more time together. I want more fun in my relationship. I want it to be done yesterday. I want to
So
try
let's get deeper.
Okay.
Let's get deeper. For all our audience and for all of us to learn from it. What's stopping you for spending more time with your family, with your husband, that is just more fun time? And I'll ask you a deeper question. What is the fear that you might have consciously or subconsciously, that if you'll spend more, you'll dedicate more fun time with your husband, you might miss out on something?
I think for a lot of people, I mean, we work with, over the years, so many people. I think one very common fear or worry that blocks us from enjoying life more is around productivity and self-worth, that it's not efficient to do nothing or to do things for fun. It's not productive. And even from a spiritual mindset, you could say, well, I'm not helping anybody, or, it's not benefiting the world. How valuable could it be? So
But may I ask you a question? In your gut soul level, for you, not based on what we heard and old beliefs, do you feel that more fun with your husband, quality time of fun, will bring more light to you too, to your family, and will help you to be more productive as a teacher, as a giver that you are?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's that, something I've been paying attention to in general is how a lot of the ways that we engage with life, a lot of our thoughts, our belief systems, our habits are not ones we're consciously choosing. They were, built into our system 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and we just haven't questioned them recently to be able to, I asked somebody today, even, when you shared with me something, and I said, it really sounds like you're disappointed with yourself when you say that. And he said it didn't even occur to him that he's disappointed with himself. But now that I'm saying it, it's true that his parents were disappointed with him, and now he's disappointed with himself and with his kids. So I feel like part of the human doing mentality is something that isn't consciously being chosen. It's just simply an old record that it's just on repeat looping, and we never really stop and question it. How can it be any different than what this is right now?
By the way, Elisheva, I have similar tikkun because it was a major sacrifice for me when I decided in the past year, I want to play at least once every 2 weeks, try once a week, ping pong, which I love, which make me disconnected. So very often, always will be a meeting and a more important thing and God and spreading the light. But actually for my own personal tikkun, to make that commitment requires surrender and trust and let go. So, like for you, like for me, like for everybody else, when we're talking about actual planting seed for changes, it's in 2 dimensions. Think about the practical, physical area that even new spiritual action or relationship action require physical action. What is the physical applications of the change? And what within you resisted that you didn't change until now? Focus on it. What is the fear? What is the doubt? Where is the letting go? Please, the Creator allowed me that change will be eternal, and the only way it will be has to be internal change. And internal change always require greater trust, greater surrender of the light of the Creator. You know it's the right thing, the old self, but I'm not going to be productive enough. I'm not going to be looked good. I will judge myself. It's so uncomfortable. I'm not moving forward. But deep inside, you know that actually for you, each one is different. For you, that change represents greater dependency on the Creator instead of dependency on your own plan and your own mind. So you grow, you inject more energy and more of your potential in every area of your life, in the outside bigger, and in a deeper, between you and yourself, between you and your heart, between you and the Creator.
Can we use another example? Something that I have been asked quite a few times over the years by different people is about if you plant a seed, and we throw around that phrase on the podcast a lot. Maybe it's also worth explaining what do we mean when we say planting seeds. But if you plant a seed, let's say for a business, either a career or an actual company, that's limited. Maybe it was out of fear of not having enough to retire on. Maybe it was revenge. I know sometimes people, an employee leaves a company and starts their own company to retaliate against the company that they left for. Sometimes we're motivated by limitation, by lack, by pain. And it's not a very fruitful seed to plant. So you come to study spirituality, you come to study Kabbalah, you realize, wow, I remember years ago, I had a student who bought a house because she was afraid to lose the money. So she put it into a purchase so as to not lose the money, but she didn't really need or want the actual house. And it ended up being a source of a lot of drama and chaos for her. So in thinking about the opportunity to start fresh, to start new, to build on something that exists, what can we do when we realize that we've planted a seed that was from in a soil of lack and limitation? Do we have to close the company and the relationship, or is it possible to renew that seed in a foundation of light?
I think it's a great question. I think that the universe is merciful, the Creator is merciful, and it's like we're all going through different lifetimes in this lifetime. So when you're in a relationship, and maybe you started a relationship from some spark of truth, but some fear, there's always opportunity to renew, to strengthen. And actually we meant in this world to elevate what we thought was right. We realized, wow, comes from fear and from some neediness, but now I want to do it really from love and to go to the unconditional. So always the universe gives us a chance to renew. And that's why we have the cycle of a year and cycle of Genesis, that we can look at every area in your life and say, that was a wrong seed, wrong intention, coming from lack, desire just to make money, doing it because there was nothing else. And I would like to plant seed of passion, of love, of physical growth, spiritual growth, win-win, abundance, adding value, and all these positive seeds, willingness, because if you're in a business, that the environment of the business doesn't actually stimulate also spiritual growth and lessons about life, something is wrong. So you want to plant the seed to allow you to be in that place. So definitely, we can all renew our vows with anything in anybody. And we meant to have every year upgraded me, upgraded program of soul, of who I'm actually showing up in this world.
Is it enough just to shift your intentions and your mission statement and your goals, or is there anything else that we need to do in order to no longer grow from that place of lack?
I do believe that real change requires some internal changes. And internal changes means I'm sacrificing something, some temporary comfort, some old way of behaving, and I'm moving towards more trust. Real change has to be with opening our heart in some level. And when you open your heart, you need to trust. So it's interesting. This week, which is the final holiday, we're reading the end of the entire Torah, and we're reading the beginning of the entire Torah. It's like the end and the beginning, the completion and the seed. And the last letter of the Torah in the word Israel is Lamed, which is, imagine it's L in English. And the first letter of the word Genesis, Bereshit, is Bet. And together, the last letter and the first letter comes out to the word Lev, which is heart. So in any changes in our life, I need to ask myself, am I opening my heart in a greater way? That's what real change means. If not, it's intellectual, it's external. To open my heart, the reason my heart was not open to love, to trust, to let go, because it didn't feel safe enough. And that's the job of our ego. I'll protect you. You don't have to open your heart. I'll make sure you'll be tough. I'll make sure you'll not be as kind. I'll make sure you lead from fear. I'll make sure you'll shut down. I'll make sure you're not going to risk like this, you'll be protected. So opening our heart for each one of us means some trusting, open to try something bigger, open to trust people more, open to be more vulnerable, open to be more exclusive. And when you're open, it means you're trusting, you're inviting the light to run the show in a greater way in your life.
And I just want to point out that when you make that decision and that commitment to open your heart, to operate, whether it's your relationship, business, just even anything in the day-to-day, when you make that commitment to be more aligned with the light, there's opposition. Sometimes it's internal opposition, sometimes it's external opposition, and not to take that opposition as a bad sign or as an indication that you should go back to being closed-minded, closed-hearted, that the old ways are better. The opposite, that the opposition, and again, the opposition can be self-doubt, self-consciousness, anything internal or external that shows up to prevent you from following through with that commitment. It's not a bad sign, it's a good sign, and you should persevere despite the opposition. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Eitan. I just want to make sure.
No, that's beautiful, because part of opening our heart is not being afraid of opposition.
Right.
And what does opposition represent? Of course, you want to open your heart and your mind to some suggestion and criticism of people close to you. It's important, of course, but fear of oppositions or fear of a struggle, it's part of being closed heart. Willingness to go through oppositions or willingness to go through a process that doesn't get you instantly to where you want, that's part of opening my heart. Opening my heart is to opening my heart to feel feelings, opening my heart for oppositions, opening my heart for a temporary struggle, and being able to welcome it without shutting it off. Because at the end of the day, what is trusting the Creator? Is trusting that external opposition and internal opposition, it's part of the divine path for me for elevation. And when I try to control it and to avoid it, that's because my heart is closed, and all of us, our heart is partially open, partially closed. But it's indication I need, where is my next level? And opening my heart, it's not enough just, opening my heart internally. We live in the physical world, so there has to be some external changes as well that demonstrating you moving in that direction towards surrender and trust.
I just want to say, not coincidentally, last year around this time, we had an episode called How to Open Your Heart. And if this is a foreign concept to you, or you'd like to hear more about what that means, episode 309, literally from the end of September 2023, it was not only a conversation, but also a meditation to help to facilitate that process. And I want to make sure that if you're interested in leaning into the opportunity of this week, that you know you have that resource for yourself as well. Eitan, closing words before we send our listeners into the week.
Think big and think deeper. The Creator wants to give us so much more, to allow us to be so much more. Let's allow the assistance from the Creator to come. Let's trust.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can visit us at weeklyenergyboost.com to see our archives, to read about the things that we think are important for our listeners to know, as well as to click the donate button and support our podcast. You can also write us from the website, send us a message, let us know your questions, your comments, and your feedback. And as always, please share this episode with anyone you know who's looking to make a fresh start, who can take the teachings and the wisdom about opening your heart and embracing your next level. And as always, we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.